At 18 she was about to become a freshman. But on her very first day in the new city, she was looked down on by a stranger. Feeling disappointed, she was drawn by the scent of flowers. She stopped in front of a flower shop on a street corner. Suddenly, a beautiful and enthusiastic woman pulled her inside. The woman hoped she could work here as a part-time employee. However, the owner's son happened to be the same guy who had disliked her earlier. And the shop even had the very flower she saw as a child, the one with mysterious power. So could this cold-faced boy be the magical boy who once helped her? Her name was Hiyu, a girl about to enter her first year of college. Since she got into the school she wanted, she came to this new city to live on her own. Her family cared about her deeply and praised her for being brave. When she saw the word brave, she touched the pendant on her chest. "I like that word. Because when I cried back then, a boy told me to be brave and gave me a bouquet as gentle as he was. I can't remember his face anymore, but I will never forget how gently he encouraged me at that moment. So I made one of the petals into a pendant, but ever since then I've never seen another flower like it." At that moment, Hiyu noticed the flower beside her had already withered. She thought for a moment and decided she should throw it away. So she carried the trash in one hand and the withered flower in the other, heading to the disposal area. Suddenly, at a corner, she bumped into a stranger. The impact made her lose balance, her body tipping forward. A hand suddenly reached out. It turned out to be the same man who had bumped into her just now. With his support, Hiyu steadied herself, then turned to thank him. But when she saw the man's face, she instantly grew shy and couldn't get the words out. The man only glanced at her before turning away. And he muttered, "Idiot." Hearing that, Hiyu felt a bit let down, as if she'd been looked down on again, though she was already used to it. Even so, she still shot a speechless glance at the man who walked away. Seriously, what a rude person, even toward a stranger. How could he act like that? Then she tossed the trash into the bin and set the withered flower aside. A breeze blew by, and the floral scent in the air instantly caught her attention. So she decided to follow the fragrance and take a little walk. It didn't take long before her eyes filled with surprise. She had arrived at a staircase lined with blooming flowers on both sides. The beautiful view made her casually take out her phone, ready to snap a photo. Suddenly, a voice rang out, "I quit." What kind of person is that? So aggressive. It turned out two women were arguing right in front of Hiyu, and the one shouting quit walked away. The woman who tried to stop her crouched on the ground crying, saying, "I really can't find anyone to hire anymore." The next second that woman looked straight at Hiyu. Then she rushed over, grabbed Hiyu's hand and asked, "Little girl, do you want to apply for a job?" The sudden enthusiasm startled Hiyu. But looking closer, this woman was really beautiful, though strangely chaotic in her vibe. She brought Hiyu to a flower shop and Hiyu couldn't help reading the name aloud. Sunlit Flower House. Such a beautiful name. The shop owner then briefly introduced herself and said she wanted to hire an employee. Salary $2,000 with food and lodging provided, and all she needed to do was greet customers at the entrance. She then added that this flower shop had been open for 20 years, and every flower here was grown by her family, each one her precious treasure. After that, the shop owner went to make tea to serve Hiyu, while Hiyu wandered around the shop on her own. Suddenly, she saw the flower from her childhood, the exact same one from her memory. Unable to control herself, Hiyu stepped closer to it and said, "I don't know why. It feels like a key filled with magic, as if touching it would open a fantastical journey." Just as Hiyu was about to reach out and touch the flower, a voice suddenly barked, "Get away, you'll break it." Hearing the voice, Hiyu turned around, and to her shock, the man standing there was the same evil dragon from earlier. The man continued, "Move." At this point, Hiyu was already frightened and confused. How could she run into him again here? She really didn't want any more trouble. But suddenly, the man leaned toward her. Startled, Hiyu shut her eyes and raised her hands to block him. But all the man did was reach past her and pick up the flower behind her. He held it in his hand and examined it carefully. Being completely ignored made Hiyu both angry and embarrassed. She muttered, "I just wanted to look at it, I didn't even touch it." The man said coldly, "Are you buying it?" Then he turned away complaining, "That woman. Seriously, she lets anyone walk into the shop." Hearing him say, "that woman," Hiyu instantly understood. They knew each other. She then said, "The shop owner invited me and I didn't plan on working here at all." Hearing that, the man suddenly turned back to look at her. He stepped closer and said, "I hope you can stick to that. The last few people said the same thing, but in the end they stayed for money or vanity. And when it comes to taking care of these flowers, you people know nothing." You never try to learn, let alone put your heart into it. When they wilt, you just pull them out. When they die, you throw them away. Didn't you just toss a pot of flowers earlier? Hiyu frowned. Flowers? Was he being rude to me earlier because of that pot? He's seen me once and he already decided I'm that kind of person? I get it now. This guy is completely arrogant and full of himself. And I even made excuses for his bad attitude earlier. No wonder the last girl insisted on quitting. Then Hiyu gathered her courage and said, the one who should leave is you. It's your condescending attitude that drives people away. That's why this flower shop is so empty. These flowers just sit here with no one to appreciate them. Isn't that pathetic? The man froze for a moment, then shot her a fierce glare. Hiyu swallowed nervously. What? Did I make you mad? Suddenly a voice called out, sorry to keep you waiting. Chiwoo, you're here? The man instantly shouted, Mom. Hiyu was shocked. Mom. Chiwoo glared at her impatiently and said, see, you don't understand anything. The shop owner brought over tea and snacks saying, come little girl, freshly brewed flower tea, don't be shy. Feeling awkward, Hiyu replied, no need, I'm leaving. The shop owner took out some pastries. Take these with you. Think of them as my apology. Hiyu turned and left, and the wind chime at the shop's door rang softly behind her. At that moment, Chiwoo looked at the flower in his hand and recalled what Hiyu had said. These flowers just sit here with no one to appreciate them. Isn't that pitiful? Back home, Hiyu ate the pastries the shop owner gave her. So good. Although that guy Chiwoo was annoying, the shop owner was truly a gentle person. Ah, I was too mad earlier that I left without saying thank you. Next time, I'll thank her when that guy isn't around. Hiyu checked the remaining balance on her phone after paying rent. A message from her parents popped up, asking about her day. She stared at the screen, wondering if she should ask them for help. The next moment, she slapped her own cheeks lightly to wake herself up. No, that I insisted on coming here myself, that I can't make my parents pay for my impulsiveness. Her mom texted again, Yo, how was your day today? But the moment she saw the message, Chi-woo's figure flashed through her mind. When it wilts, you pull it out. When it dies, you throw it away. Didn't you toss a pot earlier? Hiyu recalled the scene, let out a soft, heh, pulled the blanket over herself and went to sleep. The next day, since she had to live alone in the new city, she needed to find a part-time job no matter what, to earn some living expenses. While she was out looking for work, suddenly a crumpled paper ball hit her on the head. She picked it up and opened it, only to see that it was a flyer from Sunlit Flower House, the flower shop she had visited before. She was wondering why the flyer had been crushed like that, when suddenly several people nearby were also hit by crumpled flyers. Chi-woo was being forced to hand them out and was throwing a tantrum. And right as he was tossing flyers everywhere, one of the crumpled flyers flew back and hit him. He looked up confused, and saw that it was Hiyu, the girl who had lectured him before. Hiyu said, why is your behavior always so strange? Chi-woo snapped back instantly, none of your business. Hiyu didn't reply out loud, only thinking to herself, true, it's not my business, and I don't even want to deal with him. But then she noticed the sunflower costume beside Chi-woo. Imagined what he would look like wearing it and couldn't help but laugh. Hearing her laugh, Chi-woo immediately showed an embarrassed and furious expression. Then Hiyu picked up the sunflower costume from the ground. As she began putting it on, she told Chi-woo, don't get the wrong idea that I'm only doing this to thank the shop owner for the pastries. And honestly, I can't stand watching you ruin all these flyers. Hearing that, Chi-woo looked a bit shocked and confused. He then asked, what's your goal in doing this? Hiyu sighed and said, please. Not everyone has ulterior motives like you imagine. No offense, but don't you think your attitude is way too arrogant? You'll never bring business to the shop like that. And so, he started handing out flyers by the roadside. Meanwhile, Chi-woo watched from inside the fence, thinking to himself, let's see what kind of customers you can attract. He worked hard promoting the flower shop, but people passing by didn't seem interested. She began to look discouraged, and Chi-woo saw the whole scene. What made it worse was a girl walking by who quietly mocked Hiyu's outfit. Just when Hiyu felt defeated, a voice called out, Miss, you've been standing here for quite a while. Could you give me a flyer? Hearing that, Hiyu instantly perked up and smiled, handing him one. But unexpectedly, the glasses guy suddenly reached out and touched her. The sudden gesture startled Hiyu, leaving her momentarily frozen. At that moment, Chi-woo rushed over, yanking the man's hand away and glaring at him fiercely. The glasses guy panicked and quickly explained that it was just an accident. Chi-woo snapped one word at him. Get lost. Yu hid behind Chi-woo as she watched the creepy guy leave. Then she softly said, thank you, to Chi-woo. But Chi-woo ignored her. Even so, Yu still felt a tiny bit of joy inside. She turned her back and murmured, but that uncle was the only one who took a flyer. Chi-woo said harshly, even if someone like him came to my shop, I wouldn't welcome him. After a moment, he noticed Yu was quiet. What, about to call me arrogant again? Yu waved her hands quickly. No, noted, you're not wrong at all. Chi-woo looked at the girl wearing a sunflower headpiece, sweating under the sun. He reached out, took it off and said, don't wear it, that it looks stupid. Then he also took the flyers from her hands. Yu stared at him in a daze. Just then a voice chimed in, hey handsome, if I take a flyer, can we exchange WeChat? Chi-woo was startled by the sudden move, not knowing how to react. He then gripped the flyer tightly, staring at the two people in front of him with an unpleasant expression. Yu quickly stepped forward, afraid he might scare them away. She said, he's just being shy, here, take the flyer. He's grumpy, but the flower shop is really pretty. You should come visit. As the two walked off, both Yu and Chi-woo let out a long sigh of relief. Chi-woo tapped Yu on the head and said awkwardly, I wasn't shy. Yu looked at his awkward expression and laughed, yes, of course. Sorry then, I misunderstood. Humph, that was just my tiny little revenge. Yu glanced at the flyers in her hand and sighed, ugh, still so many left. Chi-woo didn't mind and said, happens all the time, that you'll get used to it. Yu then apologized, sorry. Feels like I didn't help at all. Two unpopular people handing out flyers. Really is a tough mission. The two of them turned their heads at the same time and met each other's eyes. A gentle breeze passed by. Yu said, do you smell that? There's a sweet floral scent. Chi-woo, a bit shy, muttered, boring. Then he started replying to a message from his cheap little brother. He heard a sniffing sound beside him, turned his head and saw Yu hiding behind a flyer. She was in the middle of a mental breakdown, boasting moments ago, now completely embarrassed. Seeing this, Chi-woo suddenly felt a wave of guilt hit him. He picked up his phone and typed, how do I attract people? His brother was shocked but still gave him some advice. Yu noticed he hadn't moved for a while, so she sneaked a glance at him, and was stunned by how good he looked. She froze for a moment before reacting, excitedly saying, why did you suddenly change your look? Chi-woo, a little shy, turned his head away and said, don't worry about it. Holding the flyer, he casually posed a few times, and instantly attracted a group of girls wanting to take photos with him. Yu panicked, worried he would lose his temper again, quickly stepped forward to stop them. Sorry, Before she finished, she heard Chi-woo say, sure, but first please take a look at this. Seeing the man in front of her looking completely different from just moments ago, Yu was shocked and confused. What was going on? More and more people gathered around Chi-woo, trying to talk to him and take pictures. After handing out all the flyers, Chi-woo tried to escape the crowd, when suddenly Yu felt someone tug on her sleeve. She looked and saw the same guy who had been calm in the crowd earlier, now slipping out in total panic. Seeing his expression that was clearly at its limit, Yu quickly caught him, stepped in front of the crowd and said, sorry everyone, the flower shop guy isn't feeling well, so he can't take any more photos today. But you can take the flyers home and visit him later using the address on them. Hearing this, the man behind her completely froze. What? There's after-sales service now. Meanwhile, the girls in front happily agreed. After everything, Yu looked at the exhausted Chi-woo and said, you worked hard. Chi-woo, on the other hand, was thinking about what awful idea his brother had given him. Next time they met, he'd definitely beat him up. Chi-woo turned his head away, a bit embarrassed, and said, actually, I should be the one thanking you. In the end, you helped me. Yu blushed and fumbled, I already said, it was for the shop owner. Don't think too much about it. Then the two people, both terrible at socializing, simply stood there in the summer breeze. And Yu once again caught that faint, sweet floral scent, cool and comforting. At that moment, a ringtone came from Yu's bag. She answered and said, the money's enough, really. Don't worry. After hanging up, she opened a job hunting app, and Chi-woo, who had been quietly watching her, saw it. He asked, you live around here? Yu replied, yeah, I just moved in yesterday. Haven't even unpacked yet. Chi-woo suddenly recalled the scene from yesterday, so that flower pot wasn't hers. He had misunderstood her. Feeling awkward, Chi-woo muttered, sorry. Yu didn't understand why this apology suddenly came. She looked at him confused. Huh? What? Chi-woo scratched his head and said softly, "Nothing." Hee-yu waved her hand and said, "I'm heading off then, bye-bye." Watching her walk farther and farther away, Chi-woo lowered his head, thought for a moment and finally called out, "Wait." He turned around puzzled. Chi-woo handed his phone to her. "It's for you." Hee-yu stared at the phone in confusion. "A call? For me?" After answering, she realized it was the shop owner. And so, after finishing the call, Hee-yu followed Chi-woo back to Sunlit Flower House. The shop owner saw her and excitedly said, We meet again. It's great. You really saved me today." Hee-yu quickly waved her hands, saying, No, I just happened to pass by." The shop owner elbowed Chi-woo hard. "If it weren't for you, not a single flyer would have been handed out today, that he would have tossed them all." Hee-yu secretly glanced at Chi-woo and said shyly, "Actually, he was the one who handed out all the flyers." The shop owner smiled brightly at Hee-yu. "I really feel like we're fated. How about working part-time here? I'll raise the pay to 3,000. Hee-yu was stunned. Wow, that much? Then she remembered what she said to Chi-woo yesterday and started struggling inside. He definitely wouldn't agree, right? If she accepted, wouldn't she be slapping her own face? But for a freshman, the offer was so tempting. Arg. The shop owner asked, "Chi-woo, what do you think?" Chi-woo said he agreed. Hee-yu immediately turned, shocked. This guy never follows common logic. The shop owner instantly made the decision. "Weren't you looking for a part-time job?" "Perfect, that it's settled then." Hee-yu was full of question marks. She hadn't agreed yet. And how did the shop owner know she was job hunting? The shop owner invited Hee-yu for flower tea, and just like that, Hee-yu stayed to work at the flower house. After a few days of working, Hee-yu realized that although Chi-woo was sometimes harsh, he was extremely gentle and attentive with the flowers. Just then, accompanied by the sound of the wind chime, the door of the shop opened. Nervous about serving her first customer, Hee-yu bowed at a full 90 degrees. The pretty lady was shocked. Why so formal?" "I'm just here to pick up the flowers I reserved earlier." Chi-woo carefully adjusted the flowers in his hands and said, "Just finished. Come take it." As soon as Hee-yu received the bouquet, she gave a thumbs up. "Wow, I have to say, it looks amazing." The sudden praise caught Chi-woo off guard. He forced himself to stay calm, turning his head away. "It's only because the flowers look good. Hurry and bring it to the customer." Hee-yu turned to look at him. "What do you mean? You're clearly happy." She smiled while handing the bouquet to the young lady. The pretty girl looked at the bouquet with delight. "Wow, it's so beautiful. Today is my anniversary with my boyfriend." Hee-yu felt that the bouquet seemed to bloom even brighter because of the girl's happiness. The girl left the flower shop happily with the bouquet. Wind chimes rang softly in the air. Hee-yu gazed at the flower house, feeling that the flowers here were especially vibrant, warm and full of happiness. Suddenly she remembered something. "This isn't here. That's gone too. Where did they go?" Chi-woo watched her searching everywhere and walked over. "What are you looking for?" Hee-yu said awkwardly, "Do you remember that flower pot you took when we argued last time? I have a pendant and the petals inside look very similar to it, but I'm not sure, so I wanted to confirm. Is that flower pot still in the shop?" Chi-woo leaned closer to look at the pendant in her hand and asked, "Is this yours?" Hee-yu fell into memories. 10 years ago, a little boy gave me a flower. I made its petals into this pendant, but after that, I never saw another flower like it again. Do you know what it is?" Chi-woo replied nervously, "No, I don't." He quickly turned away. "You must have mistaken it. These two aren't the same kind of flower at all." Feeling a bit disappointed, Hee-yu watered the flowers. "He doesn't seem like he doesn't know. Why deny it?" At that moment, a loud argument came from afar. Hee-yu turned around. Wasn't that the girl who just bought a bouquet? The girl snapped angrily, "We're done, jerk." She threw the bouquet harshly into the trash can. Hee-yu watched in pain. That was the bouquet she had just made. She hurried over to pick it up. But the moment she lifted it, she doubted her own eyes. The flowers that were blooming just moments ago were now completely wilted. At that moment, Chi-woo was carefully trimming flower stems in the backyard of the shop when Hee-yu shouted, "Chi-woo, something bad happened." Startled by her, Chi-woo's hand jerked. The flower that had been growing so well was now just a bare stick. Holding the bouquet, Hee-yu burst through the door in a panic. "Flower, it?" Chi-woo just stared blankly at the flower as if its tiny spirit was floating out. Hee-yu anxiously said, It turned into this." Chi-woo snapped his head around angrily, shouting, "What?" But the moment he actually saw the flower, he froze too. Gritting his teeth, he muttered, You were just all into it a minute ago. Didn't expect the feelings to die that fast. He looked at the flower, utterly confused. What does that have to do with anything? Hey, you think this flower became sentient? Every time someone argues, it wilts. Should I post it online and ask people? Hearing that, Chiwoo immediately snatched the flower away, both annoyed and nervous. You're getting more ridiculous by the second. No way. What, you want everyone online laughing at our flower shop? He watched him walk off with the flower, mumbling, but this really doesn't make any sense. Seeing him ignore her, she poked his hand. Hey, don't ignore me, look. Come on, look at it. Chiwoo turned around and glared at her. You're being noisy. Hiyu froze on the spot, even her hand stopped moving. Hiyu stared at Chiwoo's departing back, frozen in place, softly whispering, sorry. Lying in bed that night, the more she thought about it, the more the events of the day felt abnormal. She tried to force herself to sleep but suddenly sat upright. Ugh. There's no way I can sleep. So she stepped outside to get some fresh air. Without realizing it, she wandered down the small path behind the flower shop. It was on this same path that she had previously run into the shop owner and Chiwoo. Suddenly, she heard something from the backyard. She looked over. Isn't that Chiwoo? What's he doing working this late? What is he busy with? Hiyu peeked curiously. She saw Chiwoo pick up the wilted bouquet from earlier, gently stroking it with care. Then from his fingertips, a faint streak of starlight fell onto the petals. In the next moment, the wilted flower slowly revived in his hands, returning to full bloom. He was utterly shocked by the sight. Afraid of being discovered, she quickly hid herself in the bushes. I think I just saw something insane. I totally predicted it earlier. No wonder he was so upset today. So is he a magician or a flower fairy? Hiyu touched the pendant around her neck in confusion. Could that boy from years ago somehow be connected to him? She wanted to go ask him right away but stopped herself. If she startled him, she might lose her only chance to find out. The thought drove her nearly crazy. Lost in her frustration, she suddenly bumped into something. She pushed aside the bushes behind her. It was a sleeping man looking like a homeless wanderer. At that moment, the man suddenly opened his eyes. Both of them were scared half to death. Since both had been hiding quietly, they instinctively covered each other's mouths. The next second, Hiyu jumped back, face flushing red. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. The young man looked at her rapidly shifting expressions and couldn't help but laugh. Just then, someone shouted, Fong Exen. The boy poked Hiyu and leaned closer, telling her to stay quiet. Being that close made Hiyu blush a little. She glanced at his backpack. A high school badge was hanging on it. A girl's furious voice echoed nearby. Fong Exen, you get out here and explain yourself. Break up just because you want to, jerk. Hiyu looked at Fong Exen. She's looking for you. Aren't you going out? She even bought you flowers today. Fong Exen muttered. Hey, what's with that look? And so what? We already broke up. Hiyu glanced at the girl, still trying to explain. But she doesn't seem to think so. Fong Exen rested his cheek on his hand, totally indifferent. Then that's her problem, she got too deep into it. Hiyu thought for a moment. Isn't that kinda wrong? You can't treat feelings so casually. Fong Exen instantly exploded. Miss, we don't even know each other. Why are you lecturing me? Hiyu turned away. I'm not lecturing. I just don't want to see flowers wither because of people like you. Fong Exen stood up to leave. Hiyu panicked. Wait, you can't go that way right now. She rushed forward and grabbed his arm. Losing balance, the two fell straight onto the ground together. When they looked up, Chiwoo was standing there, expressionless. Hiyu looked at him awkwardly. Good evening, Chiwoo. Fong Exen waved as well. Hey bro. The three of them returned to the flower shop. Chiwoo poured a cup of flower tea and set it on the table. He looked at Hiyu and said softly, Here. Hiyu held the cup of flower tea and whispered, Thank you. Then he looked at his unlucky little brother. Explain. Why were you two in the backyard at this hour? The two of them spoke at the same time, just passing by. I missed you. Chiwoo looked at the girl in front of him, who seemed startled by him. Then he turned his head and said, Fine. Hiyu was stunned. That's it? Fong Exen glared at his brother. Hey, why do you only pour tea for sis? Why don't I get any? Chiwoo shot him a cold look. Pour it yourself, and calling every girl sis. Don't you find yourself disgusting? Fong Exen looked at the girl and then at his brother's strange behavior, suddenly sitting up straight. Wait, last time you asked me that question, was it because of her? Chi-woo tensed up, stepped forward and smacked him on the head. Do you still want your tea or not? Stars practically popped out of Fong Xian's head, while he was completely confused. What were they even talking about? To shut his unlucky cousin up, Chi-woo turned around to pour him tea. Fong Xian shamelessly added, and another serving of Auntie Hua's cookies, please. Chi-woo gritted his teeth. Do I look like a waiter to you? Fong Xian simply sat upright and said, Hee hee, thanks, cousin. He stared in shock. Cousin? Fong Xian grinned. Yup. His dad and my mom are siblings. Surprised we turned out so different? He sipped her tea thinking. Then, does he know Chi-woo's secret? Fong Xian noticed her spacing out and whispered, Don't tell him what I said earlier. He blinked in confusion. He's your family, you still can't tell him? Fong Xian clasped his hands together begging, Please, please, that everyone's got a little a secret, right? He thought for a moment and nodded. I understand. Fong Xian instantly brightened. Hee hee, thank you. So, what do you think of him? You could barely keep up with his train of thought. Was this some kind of sudden employee evaluation? She straightened up seriously. Chi-woo is an excellent and very responsible colleague. Fong Xian burst out laughing at her dead serious tone. He's not the boss, you know that I no need to spout formal nonsense, you're really too funny. You looked at him crying from laughter. Is it really that funny? Then she glanced at the flower tea Chi-woo had poured for her. But I'm not making that up. He really is a pretty good person. I always see him tending to the flowers so carefully. Someone like that must have a gentle heart. Fong Xian, as if reminiscing, said, That's the first time I've heard anyone describe him like that. You're not afraid of him? Hiyu lowered her head. No, or maybe, I want to know more about him. Fong Xian teased. Oh, I get it, I get it. Hiyu snapped back flustered. No, that's not. Fong Xian winked. Listen, don't let shyness make you miss out, just be honest. Then, lasting only 3 seconds of seriousness, he pointed at himself. Or, you could get to know me too. At that moment, a bag of snacks suddenly smacked onto his head. Chi-woo came out holding the flower tea and suddenly realized, You skipped cram class again, didn't you? Fong Xian instantly grabbed the tea from his hand. Spare me, spare me. I'll go back right now. Let me finish the tea first, can't waste it. Then he grabbed the little cookies and slipped away. Hiyu quickly said, Then I'll go back too. Chi-woo glanced at her. It's so late, I'll walk you back. The two walked on the road without saying a word. Just then, Hiyu remembered what Fong Xian said. She gathered her courage to speak but saw Chi-woo suddenly turn to look at her. Earlier, the man had stared at the girl before him, hesitating for a long time, finally deciding to tell her his secret. How would she react once she knew? Chi-woo turned away and hesitated for a moment. That bouquet, you saw it, right? He didn't expect him to bring that up so suddenly. She instantly retreated at light speed. Hiding behind a wall, she blurted, Shri, before you get mad, please listen to my explanation. He didn't give Chi-woo any chance to speak, spilling out a long stream of explanations. I swear I'll never tell anyone. She even made a gesture of stitching her lips shut. Chi-woo let out a helpless smile. All right, come out that I believe you won't say anything. Chi-woo sat on the stone steps and said, I heard everything you said in the shop. Hiyu peeked her little head out at him. So then, how did you do that shy thing earlier? Seeing her finally come out, Chi-woo relaxed a little. My mom is a bit different from normal people. She can sense a flower's mood and even make them bloom brighter. Hiyu raised her tiny hand immediately. I know, a flower fairy, right? Chi-woo replied uncertainly. You could put it that way. Hiyu instantly lit up. Then you're a flower fairy too? Chi-woo blushed and protested. Don't call me that, it's embarrassing. He picked up a withered flower. But I can't do nearly as much as she could. I only inherited a tiny part of it. Then Chi-woo used his ability on the withered flower, making it bloom again. He handed it to Hiyu. What I can do is only make it bloom for a short while. Hiyu happily accepted the flower from his hand. That's already amazing. She looked at the flower, then asked curiously, Do the rest of your family know about this? Chi-woo answered calmly, You mean Fong Xian, right? He knows, but he's an exception. Most people don't. I don't want to trouble anyone else. Hiyu looked at him and said, But that's not trouble at all because of you. The flowers here are so bright and warm. Suddenly, Hiyu came to a realization. So that bouquet earlier, that was the side effect of your ability, right? Chi-woo replied with a hint of sadness. That a flower's lifespan depends on a person's state of mind that it can't last long. Hiyu carefully protected the flower in her hands and sat down beside him. But that's nature, isn't it? I'm sure everyone who takes a flower from here feels happy and blessed. She smiled brightly. Me too. Thank you for trusting me with your secret. Then she lifted her pendant. So, can you tell me now, do you know this flower? Chiwoo looked at the pendant and said with some difficulty, you said you got it when you were little. Honestly, it does look a lot like the one in the shop. But I can't be certain. There were many things I didn't think about back then. Memories just faded. Sorry. The girl gazed at the scenery before her, feeling that this summer seemed a little different, as if this unfamiliar city had grown a bit warmer. At that moment, Hiyu recalled Chiwoo from last night, feeling a pang of sympathy. He must have suffered a lot as a kid too. With that kind of ability, he probably faced judgment. No wonder he's so sensitive. Hiyu sighed. Ugh. But if he always treats people like that, he won't have any friends, right? Then she slumped again. Like I'm even qualified to say that I don't have friends either. The next second, Hiyu whipped out her phone with a I can do this look. But starting now, I'm going to change. Full of confidence, she declared. In college, not only will I study hard, I'll also make lots of friends. Let's go. New life goal. Suddenly, a voice came from behind. Yo, the freshman group chat. Not bad, not bad. Startled, Hiyu whipped around. Oh, it's you, Fong Exen. Seeing he scared her, Fong Exen hurriedly said, Did I scare you? Sorry. Turns out you're in the same school as Awu. Hiyu froze. Same school? I didn't even know. Fong Exen made a see I knew it face. Yeah, he never says anything on his own. Unless someone pushes him, he won't speak up that he's already a sophomore and I'm his only friend. Hiyu was shocked. What? Not a single friend besides you. I knew it. Fong Exen laughed and said, because of some things in the past he's always shut himself off. Like a hedgehog. Maybe he's just used to it. Hiyu asked in confusion. You can get used to something like that. I can't. Not having friends has always bothered me. Fong Exen exclaimed in surprise. No way, someone as fun as you doesn't have friends? Hearing that, Hiyu felt a sharp sting in her chest. When she was little, she moved constantly and every time she tried to greet new kids her face would twist up. So she never managed to make friends. She pointed at her own face. Can you tell I'm smiling right now? Fong Exen said awkwardly. Yeah. I noticed that the first time we met, so that's why you ended up isolated? Hiyu laughed softly. I guess. Probably not. My classmates weren't malicious. It was really my own issue. Fong Exen suddenly understood. Having no one to talk to, that kind of loneliness, that's what you meant, right? Hiyu nodded her little head like crazy. Exactly. Then she suddenly realized how embarrassing she sounded. Sorry, I ended up dumping a bunch of nonsense on you. Compared to Chiwoo, mine is nothing at all. Fong Exen looked at the embarrassed girl and said, to me, no one's worries should be brushed aside. Don't look down on yourself, okay? Be a little more confident. She stared blankly at him. Just a few simple words felt like wind sweeping aside duckweed on a pond, and her heart instantly cleared. Fong Exen added seriously, and you've been trying so hard. That alone makes you way better than Awu, who only knows how to run away. He reached out and gently smoothed the frown between her brows. See? You talk to me just fine. With a personality like yours, you'll make friends in no time. Don't worry. Hiyu froze, touching the little crease on her forehead. With a brightened heart and new hopes for college life, Hiyu stepped through the school gates. Seeing the bustling groups of people everywhere, she suddenly felt a bit lost. Then a hand reached out and took her bag. She turned. Chiwoo, why are you here too? Today's just freshman registration. Chiwoo held her bag seriously. I happen to have something at school. At that moment, Fong Exen lunged forward and hugged Chiwoo. Have something to do. Please, aside from class, you're always in the shop. Chiwoo snapped, embarrassed. You talk too much. Fong Exen pointed at his own eyebrows, looking at Hiyu. She immediately understood and rubbed her own brow. Fong Exen gave her a thumbs up. Nice. Chiwoo was completely confused. What were these two doing? Just then, someone behind them whispered, Hey, is that a new freshman? Even from the back he looks kinda cute. Chiwoo turned around, giving a puzzled look. The girls who were talking suddenly realized, it's him. Run. Abort mission. He watched the group flee and thought they seemed terrified of Chiwoo. Chiwoo didn't care at all. Let's go. I'll take you to registration. Hiyu asked curiously, Chiwoo, what club did you join? Chi-woo replied coldly, none. Those things are optional anyway. Both Hee-yu and Fong Exen exchanged a yeah we knew it look. Bro, you can't stay this antisocial forever. Fong Exen started when a loud clang caught Hee-yu's attention. A girl had fallen, so Hee-yu rushed over. Are you okay? The girl hurried to pick up her papers. I'm fine. Been running around all morning, just low blood sugar. Chi-woo handed her a small cookie. Here, eat something. The girl turned, saw him and instantly pulled Hee-yu behind her. She backed away nervously. Girl, why are you with him? He's a total creep. Stay away from him. Fong Exen blinked. Bro, what did you do to this sister? She looks like she holds a grudge. Chi-woo said calmly, I don't know her. I've never seen her. The girl exploded the moment she heard that. What? You don't know me. How can you be this cold and heartless? Did you forget last semester's group project? We were partners. I'm your classmate, Xiao Jinling. Hearing that name, Chi-woo said he had no memory of her, didn't know her. Xiao Jinling grew even angrier. Of course you don't. You didn't show up for an entire semester. I did the whole group project by myself and I even covered for you. I added you 100 times, called you countless times. All rejected. Fong Exen covered his mouth in shock. Oh my god, how can you treat a girl like that? Total jerk. Expose him. Xiao Jinling grew even more agitated. And that's not even the main point. The main point is you ignored me, the prettiest girl alive. While you spent your days whispering to plants and making those weird faces. Seriously creepy. Hee-yu quietly said, I think you might want to watch your mannerisms a little. Fong Exen whispered, yeah, you do look pretty creepy. Chi-woo snapped, shut up both of you. Just then Xiao Jinling clutched her head. Ugh, dizzy. Hee-yu quickly supported her. You probably won't believe it now, but Chi-woo is actually a really gentle person. Xiao Jinling stared in disbelief. What? What nonsense are you saying? Then Hee-yu took out the cookie. Look, this is for you. He made it himself. Come on, it's okay. The two guys watched the scene, feeling like they were watching someone coax a stray kitten. Xiao Jinling took the cookie, pointed at Chi-woo fiercely. Don't think this means I forgive you. Humph. I'm done with you. I have a meeting to get to. At that moment, Fong Exen picked up a sheet from the ground. Animal Protection Club. What a cute club. I almost want to join. Xiao Jinling took the sheet and said, I'm the president. Do you want to join? Fong Exen gave a small smile. Too bad, I'm still a high schooler. He glanced at Hee-yu. But I think Hee-yu would be a great fit. She just started college. Hee-yu said nervously, I don't think I can. Xiao Jinling immediately replied, don't worry, everyone's really friendly. Do you want to try it out? Hee-yu asked uncertainly, Can I really do it? Xiao Jinling smiled brightly at her. Of course. You're totally welcome. Chi-woo glanced at Hee-yu. If you want to go, then go. Hee-yu turned back. What about you? Chi-woo looked away, answering a bit awkwardly, I'm heading back. Hee-yu stared blankly at his retreating back. Didn't he say he had something to do? The man grabbed her phone in annoyance, and the wind chime in the flower shop rang softly. Chi-woo instantly turned toward the door. Hee-yu pushed the door open out of breath. Sorry, I'm late. Senior sister Xiao Jinling organized a dinner, so I went to why bad. While trimming the flowers in his hand, Chi-woo said casually, You've been coming pretty late lately, and that senior sister Xiao Jinling, you call her quite naturally now. Hee-yu replied embarrassed, That's because on the first day I joined the club, facing all the members made me so nervous, I didn't know what to do. Senior sister Xiao Jinling kept encouraging me. Hee-yu happily picked up a flower. Thinking back to that first day, I guess I was brave for once that I didn't freeze up. And everyone was so friendly that I really hope I can get familiar with them soon. Chi-woo glanced at the girl giggling to herself and waved a hand in front of her face. Hey, what are you smiling at? Don't forget we're working right now. Hee-yu snapped back. I know. Actually, you could come too. I was thinking that if you did, then we could. Chi-woo cut her off immediately. No, that place is full of noisy, over-the-top people. Hee-yu protested unwillingly. Maybe once you actually interact with them, you'll find they're not what you think. Just then Hee-yu's phone rang. It's school gossip. Want to hear it? They're saying there's someone super scary at our school and they even gave him a terrible nickname, Hot Spring. Isn't that too much? The moment Chi-woo heard the words Hot Spring, he immediately turned toward Hee-yu and rushed over to snatch her phone. He grabbed the phone and started tapping rapidly. Hee-yu angrily tried to take it back. Give me my phone. Why are you grabbing it? That's so rude. While blocking her, Chi-woo kept swiping. Wait just a moment and I'll give it back. Focused on grabbing her phone, he didn't notice how close the two of them had gotten. Chi-woo froze for a second, they were way too close. Taking advantage of the moment, Hee-yu snatched the phone back. Huh? You got it. But when she looked at her screen, she realized Chi-woo had made her leave the group chat. She turned back, furious. It's not even your phone. What gives you the right to do that? Chi-woo muttered guiltily. My hand slipped. Hee-yu glared at him. I don't believe you. You were messing with it forever. Chi-woo turned his head away weakly. It's just leaving a group chat. You can join again, right? Why make such a fuss? Hee-yu pressed him. And what do you want everyone to think of me now? I finally made a decent impression on people. Then she squatted down, crying in frustration. I just wanted to make some friends. They clearly cared about each other, yet their words pierced each other's hearts. Chi-woo stared at her blankly. You don't have to worry that much, okay? You've known them for only a few days. No one's going to care what you do. Hee-yu replied coldly. That's what you call excessive self-centeredness. Chi-woo scoffed. Heh, besides, friends aren't that important anyway. Hee-yu shot back. So you think I'm stupid for trying? I actually thought we were alike. But clearly I was wrong. You don't care how others see you. Nothing matters to you. Chi-woo looked at her, completely lost. That's not what I meant. He stood up angrily. But I'm not like you, that I don't want to be misunderstood, that I don't want people to see me as some kind of freak. Chi-woo let out a disappointed, cold laugh. So that's how you think of me too. Then he dropped onto the sofa. Yeah, you're definitely not like me. I don't care what people say, that I'm not wasting my time playing this childish making friends game. Chi-woo lifted his head toward her. No one is worth it. Hee-yu took off her apron and placed it on the table. She turned away sadly, leaving without another word. Chi-woo stared at her leaving figure and the apron she left behind. That's not what I meant. That's not it. Thinking back on what he'd just done, he couldn't understand himself. What was I even doing? This isn't like me at all. Alone on the sofa, he slumped. Ugh. So annoying. So what if she found out? So what if people talk? Why do I even care? Several days passed and the two still hadn't seen each other. Did I end the clubroom? Hee-yu let out a sigh. She hadn't gone to the flower shop for days. Jo Jinling asked with concern, What's wrong with you lately? You've been sighing non-stop. If there's something bothering you, that's actually easy to handle. Personally, when I keep my schedule full, I don't have time to feel upset. Hee-yu smiled. I'm okay. If only it were that simple. Just then a senior shouted, Someone's fighting downstairs. Come eat melons. Everyone rushed to the window to watch the drama. Huh? Isn't that the hot spring, Chi-woo? Hearing that, he was completely shocked. What? She hurried to the window to look down. What do you mean by hot spring? A senior girl explained. Oh, you quit the group chat that day, so you didn't see it. Hot spring refers to Chi-woo. He's kind of famous on campus. In that moment, he finally understood why Chi-woo acted that way that day. Just a second ago, Chi-woo was still fighting with a whatever look on his face. Then he glanced up at the crowd watching from the upper floor. And the next second, panic hit him. Crap, why is she here? The moment he saw Hee-yu, Chi-woo instantly jumped down from the tall wall and ran off in a panic. Seeing that, Hee-yu grew extremely worried. People around her were still gossiping about Chi-woo. Listening to them, Hee-yu finally understood, so this is what he's been dealing with at school. And I even said those things to him. She grabbed her bag and walked out. Sorry, senior, I need to go. Jo Jinling called after her. Hey, wait. Meanwhile, Chi-woo was curled up by a corner wall, frustrated. Damn it. Why did she have to see that? She must hate me even more now. Suddenly, a voice came from above. Wow, didn't expect you to not only roast people. Turns out you also like fighting. Chi-woo spun around in shock. Why did you climb up here? There are nails everywhere. This place is dangerous. Hee-yu yelled at him. Humph. Who told you to hide in a place with no entrance? Chi-woo quickly reached out a hand. Come down first, that it's dangerous up there. Be careful. Hee-yu looked at the hand in front of her and reached out her own. But the unexpected happened. She lost her balance and fell straight into Chi-woo. Chi-woo caught her firmly, holding her in his arms. I told you to be careful, he said, glancing down at the girl in his arms. Sorry, Hee-yu said shyly. No, I'm the one who should apologize. Only then did the two realize they were hugging and quickly stepped apart. Chi-woo gathered his courage and said awkwardly, I should be the one to say sorry. leaving the group wasn't really what I wanted. Hiyu looked at him, unsure what to say. Then Chiwoo said quietly, I just didn't want you to see those messages. I panicked and ended up doing something even worse, making you dislike me more. If you don't want to come to the shop anymore, it's fine that I'll still pay you everything. I'm sorry. Hiyu froze. This was the first time she'd ever heard him talk so much. She took a small step back, then suddenly threw herself into him. Humph. This is payback for stealing my phone. Even though Chiwoo was in a lot of pain, he didn't dare make a sound. Hiyu looked at him helplessly. If you didn't want me to see those messages, you could have just said so. And besides, did you really think I'd believe them? Chiwoo replied softly, don't you care what they think? Hiyu got worked up. But you matter too. We've known each other for a while now. Have a little faith in me and in yourself. She thought for a moment and added, and I hope you won't assume everyone is terrible, only to end up doing something even worse because of it. Chiwoo nodded obediently. Yeah, I'm sorry. Suddenly Hiyu smacked his cheek with a loud slap. Why did you get into a fight again? Chiwoo touched the cheek she slapped. Band-aid. Hiyu said with concern, good thing my senior gave me some band-aids before I left. Chiwoo quickly explained, it's because those guys always treat this place like a dump. I tried stopping them a few times but it didn't work, so I just beat them up until they stopped coming. Seeing Hiyu staring at him blankly, he hurried to add, okay, I know fighting is wrong. Hiyu sighed. So that's how it is. You're really easy to misunderstand, you know? Why didn't you just say the reason? If you said it, things wouldn't have ended up like this. Chiwoo said stubbornly, I honestly don't care about all that as long as they don't ruin this place. Hiyu turned to look at him. But handling it this way doesn't really solve the problem. She lowered her head shyly. You said the flower shop exists to bring beauty to others. But I hope the one who grows the flowers can have the same kind of beauty too. After saying that, Hiyu stepped closer to him. She raised both hands and gently placed them on his brow. I hope this place can relax too. I hope you can be a little more honest and stop pushing everyone so far away. Chiwoo stared at her blankly as she leaned in. Suddenly, he squatted down and grabbed his head in a panic. Hiyu froze, confused. Huh? What's wrong now? His ears were red, bright red like a boiled shrimp. If this makes you happy, I'll try my best. That made Hiyu laugh out loud. Chiwoo asked nervously, then, will you still come to the shop? Hiyu lifted her chin with a tiny bit of pride. When did I ever say I was leaving? Chiwoo pushed aside a patch of bushes. Do you want to know why I like staying here? Come with me. Then he held the branches aside, carefully shielding Hiyu. Be careful, don't let them scratch you. Hiyu suddenly froze, stunned by the sight before her. She then ran joyfully toward the field of flowers. Wow, so many flowers. They're gorgeous. Did you plant all of these? Chiwoo watched her from behind, quietly following her steps. No, I just take care of them. They were here long before I was. Hiyu teased him. So they're the real owners here and you're just the handyman? Oh, this looks like wild yellow rosewood. She sniffed the flower. No scent. Chiwoo glanced at the silly girl in front of him and chuckled. They haven't bloomed yet. Hiyu touched the flower, disappointed. Oh, I see. Then never mind. Chiwoo bent down. You want to see them bloom, right? Then he placed his hand on the flower and used his magic. In the next moment, Hiyu saw the flower quietly bloom in Chiwoo's palm. Wow, that's adorable. Chiwoo leaned in slightly. Look up. Hiyu raised her head, puzzled, and saw that Chiwoo had made all the yellow rosewood flowers bloom at once. She felt as if she were standing in a sea of blossoms, so beautiful, like a dream. Chiwoo smiled. It's been a long time since I saw a scene like this. Standing in the flower field, Hiyu gazed at the blossoms. Then I'm really lucky, aren't I? A faint fragrance drifted by, soft and gentle. Chiwoo found himself completely drawn to Hiyu. Why is my heart beating so fast? Suddenly, Hiyu turned around, smiling brightly. Thank you for sharing this, Mr. Gardener, that I'll never forget such a beautiful scene in my life. Chiwoo's heartbeat sped up even more. He shyly looked away. As long as you like it. Then the two of them walked home together. Hiyu looked at him and said, Here is fine. Thank you for walking me back. Seeing Chiwoo stare at her without saying anything, she hesitated. Then, I'll go up first, bye. Chiwoo only replied with a soft, okay. Hiyu turned around and headed upstairs. Suddenly, Chiwoo called out, Wait, what time is your class tomorrow? Hiyu turned back in confusion. Huh? What do you mean? Chiwoo fumbled for words. Your class. I have class tomorrow morning. He lowered his head shyly. I mean, if you also have class, maybe we could go together. Realizing what he meant, he replied excitedly. Yes, yes, 8 a.m. Chiwoo waved his hand. Okay, see you tomorrow morning. He rushed forward and grabbed him. Wait, I wanted to say this earlier. We haven't added each other as friends yet. After getting home, Chiwoo took a shower and sat down. He picked up his phone and saw a message from Hiyu, replying immediately. When he saw the words friend request, he froze. His thoughts drifted away, memories of an old pain resurfacing. Little Chiwoo watched his classmates laughing and playing, wishing he could join them too. Suddenly, a voice came from behind him. What trick did you just do? Little Chiwoo panicked. It wasn't me. The boy plucked a flower and handed it to him. Here, do it again. Little Chiwoo looked at the only boy who was willing to speak to him. Okay, but it's not a magic trick. The boy's eyes lit up. Can I play with you? I want a friend whose different. My name is Xiaobo. Little Chiwoo froze. This was the first time someone wanted to be his friend. Okay, but you have to keep it secret. My name is Chiwoo. But ever since then, every time Xiaobo wanted to show off to others, he would first pluck a flower, and then make little Chiwoo change it back. On Chiwoo's 10th birthday, his mother gave him a seed, making little Chiwoo unbelievably happy. I begged for so long, you finally let me raise one. Thank you, Mom. His mom spoke gently. This is a special seed I cultivated. You must care for it with love. Do your best. Little Chiwoo carefully gazed at the seed in his hands. I'll protect it for sure. I can't wait to see it bloom. That day, Xiaobo once again asked Chiwoo to do magic. Chiwoo performed one. But this time little Chiwoo refused and ran outside. He looked at the injured flower in his hand. He didn't want to do this anymore. Xiaobo brought along a group of friends and confronted him. How could you embarrass me like that? Little Chiwoo lowered his head sadly. Don't make me do that again. Do you actually see me as a friend? Saying that, he turned and walked away. At that moment, the teacher shouted, Who pulled out the flowers from the classroom? Once I find out, there will be serious punishment. Xiaobo grabbed Chiwoo in a panic. What? Didn't you turn it back? In the pushing and pulling, Chiwoo's flower was knocked over, and then stomped on hard. Little Chiwoo stared sadly at the flower on the ground and started fighting Xiaobo. Thankfully, the teacher arrived in time and stopped the out-of-control Chiwoo. With teary eyes, Chiwoo whispered, Mom, I'm sorry. His mother knelt down and wiped his tears. This isn't your fault. If you want to cry, just cry. Little Chiwoo burst into loud sobs. I'm sorry, I didn't protect it well. His mom then took out another seed. Shall we plant one more together? Little Chiwoo stared blankly at the seed in his hand. All my energy went into the first one. I don't have the strength to plant another. I don't want to make friends anymore. His mother gently comforted him. Don't lose heart. One day you'll meet someone who respects your secret and is willing to water and nurture flowers with you. From that day on, Chiwoo changed. Friends don't matter to me anymore. I hate these people. I'd rather be alone than make the same mistake again. Snapping back to reality, Chiwoo thought of Hiyu. Maybe Mom was right. He stared blankly at the radiant girl before him. She really was different. Someone he couldn't help but want to get close to. Would the girl really be as the young man imagined? Chu's mom burst in angrily. Early in the morning and you're not at school. What are you doing in here? The noise reached the shop. Seeing the messy room, she thought a thief had broken in. But Chiwoo was just searching for the seed from his childhood. His mom asked curiously, Why are you looking for that? You're acting strange today. She caught a faint floral scent from him. Your mood seems great today. Chiwoo fled downstairs immediately, guilty. He ran into his dad and asked if he remembered where the seed had gone. Then he grabbed a piece of bread and left. Meanwhile, Hiyu rushed down the stairs. She was going to be late. 8 a.m. classes are the worst, she muttered, then crashed straight into someone's arms. Chiwoo quickly steadied her. This is the second time. Do you never look where you're going? Hiyu immediately argued, It's your fault. You blocked the way on purpose. I thought you already went to school. Chiwoo handed her a bag. Here, for you. Last night past midnight, Chiwoo had seen her Moments post. So he knew she'd oversleep today and bought her a pile of breakfast. Then the two rode a bike to school together. Hiyu chomped on the bread like crazy and Chiwoo looked at her, like a little hamster. You don't have to rush that much. Suddenly, from a distance, Good morning, Hiyu. She immediately greeted them happily. Good morning, senior, "Good morning, everyone." She worried that Chiwoo might feel awkward. Unexpectedly, Chiwoo suddenly spoke up. "Morning." That single morning stunned everyone. Why, he actually greeted us. Chiwoo saw Hiyu's panicked expression. "What's with that face? Didn't I tell you already?" At that moment, Hiyu suddenly remembered what he said yesterday. So that's why. She burst out laughing without restraint. Chiwoo muttered awkwardly, "Don't laugh, that I'm starting to regret it." The group across from them froze. Wait, is this our beating alert? Still, they gathered their courage and greeted Chiwoo back with a morning. Hiyu teased, "So this is why you wanted to walk with me?" Chiwoo looked mortified. "You really didn't have to say that out loud." Neither of them knew that because of Chiwoo's one morning, the classmates had begun to see him differently. Someone in the crowd said, "Senior Qiao Jinling never talks trash about him, never comments either." Qiao Jinling thought carefully. Seems true, but why? Turns out a person really can change because of another. In the flower shop, the girl happily watched the peaceful scene in front of her. The man who used to be like a fierce dragon had softened a lot after promising her he'd change. Hiyu fell into thought. Speaking of which, this is all thanks to Feng Exen, huh? Speak of the devil, Feng Exen appeared with luggage waving from afar. "Long time no see, sis." Hiyu looked at him confused. "Feng Exen, why are you here?" Feng Exen replied pitifully, "My mom's on another business trip. I have nothing to eat again." Chiwoo shot back. "Yeah right, that I don't believe a word. Didn't she give you money?" Feng Exen instantly lit up. "I'm saving up for a PS5. In the end, Chiwoo still took him in and let him stay at his old spot. Just then, the sound of a flower pot shattering came from the shop. A girl had accidentally knocked one over. She apologized repeatedly and bent down to pick it up. Feng Exin gently pulled her hand back. "It's okay that we didn't consider that the placement might block the walkway. That's on us, I'll take care of it." The girl blushed with gratitude, while the two socially anxious observers hiding in the back finally breathed out in relief. Hiyu picked up the tools and walked over. "I'll handle this. Don't delay your studying." Feng Exin laughed. "It's fine that I actually enjoy doing odd jobs here." Because his parents were separated, Chiwoo's parents had always taken care of him. Feng Exin wanted to do whatever he could to repay them. Seeing the pitying look on Hiyu's face, Feng Exin immediately said, Stop, don't look at me like that. Otherwise I'll feel obligated to cheer you up." Then he pulled a mischievous face. "Honestly, my mentality is great. Unlike some people who are super sensitive." Suddenly, Chiwoo grabbed Feng Exin by the collar. "Who are you talking about, huh? Your life is basically in someone else's hands." Feng Exin panicked. "Ah, obviously I wasn't talking about you, right? Right?" Hiyu patted her chest. "So dangerous that I almost said something comforting, but clearly he doesn't need it." Just as she was thinking, Feng Exin was surprisingly calm and mature when things happened. Far away, Feng Exin was collapsing emotionally. "Help! My mentality is ruined. Why does the anti-addiction system even exist?" On the side, Hiyu was stunned. The anti-addiction system hit again. The underage Feng Exin felt like life had no joy left. Chi Wu gloated, "You can only play on weekends. And it's just 2 pathetic hours. Do your homework properly." Feng Exin asked Chi Wu to let him use his account. 1 second Chi Wu was firmly refusing. The next he was already swayed by Feng Exin. "You couldn't take it anymore." She shouted, "How can you let him play games? Isn't he a senior in high school? Doesn't he need to study? Take it seriously." With that, she grabbed both of their phones. Confiscated. Stunned from being yelled at, Feng Exin snapped back and grinned. "Sis, you really sound like a parent." Then, "What's my reward if I finish my homework, sis?" To make Feng Exin study obediently, Hiyu agreed. Once he finished, he could use Chi Wu's phone to play. That instantly made Feng Exin silly happy, while Chi Wu looked very displeased. Hiyu left with the confiscated phones. Feng Exin asked his brother with a puzzled look, "You never let anyone touch your stuff. Even I'm not allowed." Exposed, Chi Wu turned away awkwardly. "None of your business." Feng Exin, jealous, said, "Since when did you two get so close behind my back?" Seeing Chi Wu ignore him, he shouted toward the hallway, "Yuojia." Chi Wu quickly grabbed him. "Don't shout. Fine, I'll tell you." After hearing what happened, Feng Exin was shocked. Feng Exin said speechlessly, "Doing that will get you eliminated with negative points in a girl's eyes." Chi Wu was deeply regretful. "I know. But when I apologized, she said those things instead, and I really didn't know what to do." Looking at his brother, who used to act indifferent to everyone, Feng Exen said in disbelief. So you actually did what she told you? You're that obedient? Then Feng Exen asked curiously, didn't it feel forced to you? Chi Wu stared blankly at the glass of water in front of him. Honestly, it did feel uncomfortable, but it wasn't a bad feeling. Feng Exen chuckled, impressed. Yuja is pretty bold, huh? Chi Wu looked at him in confusion. Feng Exen teased him shamelessly. Normally, people would stay miles away from you. Feng Exen actually meant that if it were him, he definitely wouldn't get involved. Less trouble, better life. Chi Wu murmured, guess you're really cold. That made Feng Exen laugh. You're the last person qualified to say that about me, bro. Chi Wu lowered his gaze and said gloomily, clinging to the past and acting timid, I really am pathetic. Feng Exen replied thoughtfully, not necessarily. Not everyone likes being treated with that kind of enthusiasm. If Yuja met someone like that, she'd probably get hurt. Then the image of Hiyu appeared in Feng Exen's mind. He really wanted to tease her a little. Chi Wu shot Feng Exen a disgusted look. You talk like you actually know anything. Feng Exen immediately poked the fire. In some aspects, I have more experience than you. You haven't even held a girl's hand. You even get kicked out of game lobbies. Chi Wu couldn't take it anymore and gave Feng Exen a good beating. And just in time, Hiyu saw it. Don't disturb him while he's studying. The imported flowers arrived. Chi Wu, come here. Feng Exen instantly hid behind Hiyu, tattling while provoking Chi Wu with his eyes. As Hiyu was about to say something, she saw Chi Wu looking pitiful. Why are you always taking his side? It was obviously him. Feng Exen quickly poked his head out and pleaded, Sister, protect me. Hiyu stared at them with a head full of question marks. What is going on? What am I supposed to do? She told the two childish idiots to go do their own work. Today the shop owner brought in another batch of beautiful flowers. Chi Wu said helplessly, why did she bring in so many again? Hiyu was in full work mode. Alright, let's start sorting. Feeling her hair was in the way, Hiyu tied it up with a ponytail. She looked bright and youthful. Chi Wu stared at her in a daze. And once again he noticed Hiyu's pendant. He couldn't hold back and asked, by the way, what happened to that pendant of yours? Hiyu smiled. The pendant? There's nothing inside. It's been 8 years after all. Feng Exen immediately snapped his head up. Huh? Who could make sister think about them for 8 years? Hiyu explained, just a childhood friend. But Feng Exen focused on the key point, boy or girl. After hearing it was a boy, he frowned. You still think about him after all these years. Sister, do you like him? Hiyu instantly hid the pendant. What are you talking about? Chi Wu said bitterly, you didn't tell me, he's someone that important to you? Hiyu panicked even more. No, that's not it. He's just someone I've always wanted to properly thank. Then she lowered her head, cheeks turning red. Although I hate to admit it, we don't have any relationship at all. Feng Exen smirked mischievously. She's panicking, her face is so red, this is great. Then he added, if there are flower petals inside, maybe let Iwu check. Maybe you two are destined. It even matches his specialty. Let him smell the petals, he might lead us to a clue. Chi Wu walked over and beat him up again. Hiyu laughed awkwardly. What if he already has a girlfriend? Chi Wu froze. You're really considering it? Then looking unhappy he walked out. I'm done messing around with you. Boring. I'm leaving. I have deliveries to make. Feng Exen poked the bear again. You're really not helping? Chi Wu glared. Screw you. I'm not a rescue dog. He slammed the door hard. The two inside just stared. What happened? His mood dropped again? While delivering flowers, Chi Wu replayed Hiyu's excited reaction. Pure jealousy bubbling up. Does a childhood friend deserve that level of excitement? Then he snapped back to himself. Why am I getting so worked up? Seriously? Meanwhile, in the flower shop, Hiyu headed out to take out the trash, reminding Feng Exen to watch the store. Feng Exen confidently replied, no problem. But the moment Hiyu stepped out and shut the door, Feng Exen instantly broke loose. Perfect chance. Sorry sister, I've got something far more important to do. Sneaking out, Feng Exen hummed a cheerful tune. Just as he was feeling himself, a voice came from behind. Well, look who it is. Little Feng Exen? What bad luck. He ran into his ex-girlfriend. Feng Exen bolted away instantly. Meanwhile, he was sorting the trash. Suddenly, she noticed someone slipping by, looking strangely familiar. She grabbed Feng Exen. Stop right there. Where are you going? Aren't you supposed to be doing homework at the shop? Feng Exen quickly begged, "Sister, please. My friend is seriously ill. Let me go, okay?" A woman's voice chimed in, friendly reminder. A man's mouth is 90% lies. Feng Xian's face collapsed. "I'm doomed. Completely doomed." He looked over. Wasn't this the furious girl from before? The girl glared at him. "Feng Xian, little brother, long time no see, been hiding from me for so long." He whispered nervously, "She seems to be here for you." "Oh no, what about your gravely ill friend waiting on you?" Feng Xian blurted, "It's fine, she can hold on a bit longer." Forcing a smile, he greeted, "Hello, sister. Long time no see, that I really missed you." Then he launched into a whole speech explaining why he didn't answer calls, why he vanished. But his ex just burst into laughter. "What are you, a tiny cookie, trying to fool me again, as if I still care about you?" At that moment, a well-behaved boy walked over. "Sister Jing, I brought your favorite milk tea." The two showed off their affection right in front of Feng Exen. Then the ex said cheerfully, "I already have a new little brother, taller and better looking than you." Feng Exen looked crushed. "Sister, you ditched me that fast?" His ex replied, "If I didn't personally know you, I might have actually believed your nonsense." On the side, Hiyu munched on the drama. "So, is Feng Exen dumped or cheated on?" The ex-girlfriend suddenly leaned toward Hiyu. "I've seen you before. You're cute, but your taste is terrible." "Yeah, that insults the old me too, but friendly warning, don't let him fool you." Hiyu completely lost the rhythm. "Huh? What? No, this is a misunderstanding." Feng Exen acted pitiful. "I just wanted to cheer sister up. I didn't expect her to misunderstand." The ex waved her hand dramatically. "Stop. I hereby declare, you're dumped." Feng Exen watched her walk away, looking depressed that he didn't know what to say. But just as she was about to comfort him, the person in front of her instantly changed expression. No sadness at all, completely relaxed. Hiyu asked in confusion, "So, you were faking that sadness?" Feng Exen replied cheerfully, "Yep. Avoiding pointless drama. Everyone wins." Hiyu recalled what the girl had said earlier. Turns out she was right. Don't be fooled by appearances.